Good morning everyone. Myself MJ Anithasri, doing 3rd PhD Food Science and Nutrition at Department of Food Science and Nutrition, Community Science College and Research Institute, Madurai. My oral presentation topic is on development of neeragaram by natural fermentation using a Barnyard millet. The variety is MDU1 variety. So first I will give an intro that reboot ourselves by switching to millets. So we know that cereals and millets, it has the potential to support the growth of both the probiotics as well as prebiotics with the reduction of any risk of chronic diseases. And among the fermented foods, there are more than 5,000 types of ethnic fermented foods and also alcoholic beverages which is prepared and also consumed by the different regions of the ethnic people all over the world. So fermentation, usually the natural fermentation, which is an inexpensive technique, and it is widely used in the developing countries, which is significant to the human diet with the enhancement of nutritional and sensory values to the food. So I have taken the Barnyard millet for the study to develop the neeragaram. The variety name is MDU1. So what are the physico-chemical characteristics of the chosen Barnyard millet is? The Barnyard millet name is MDU1 variety, and the crop maturation from the maturation of days is around 95 to 100 days, and the species name is Ecolina esculenta, the pure line selection from the Arupukotai local. And agronomical features like it gives a high grain yield and then high drought tolerant, and it is also a compact and pyramidal shaped panicle with especially the high iron content. So the length of the Barnyard millet is 1.86 mm, breadth is 1.71 mm, length breadth ratio is 1.08, 1000 grain weight is around 3.90 gram, gruel solid loss is 1.56 percentage, amylose is around 22.97 percentage, and amylopectin is 77.03 percentage. So these are the physico-chemical characteristics of Barnyard millet. So the preparation of fermented sour beverage neeragaram is by first we have to take the millet grains and we have to soak the grains in the water, and then cooking the which is soaked millet grains by adding amount of water is around 300 ml of water, and then 2.5 gram of salt, which is allowed for pressure cooker around 10 minutes. And then after cooking the millet, we have to add 300 ml of water to the cooked millet, and we can add like spices like curry leaves, coriander, chili, and then green chilies, and then small onions to the cooked millet rice, and we have to kept in the mud pot. So we have to allow for the fermentation, which is around overnight fermentation, and I have kept the neeragaram in incubator at 30 degree Celsius. So we can obtain the fermented sour beverage, which is named as neeragaram, and then we have to package and we have to go for the storage. So this is the flow chart of the neeragaram preparation, and I have assessed the nutritional characteristics of fermented sour beverage, a Barnyard millet. So the energy is around 66.27 kilocalories, carbohydrate 7.29 percentage, protein is around 1.29 gram per 100 ml, fiber is 0.93%, fat is 0.62%, iron is 1.78 milligram, potassium 116.17, sodium 4.87 milligram, and zinc is 2.21 milligram. And we have assessed the organoleptic evaluation of the developed sour beverage among the trained panel members in our institute, and the scorecard overall acceptability is around 9 for the developed Barnyard millet beverage. And especially we have isolated the LAB bacteria, that is lactic acid bacteria, which is more helpful for the gut microflora in the intestine. So the LAB media which we used is MRS media. In the MRS media, we have diluted 10 power minus 5 into the plate, and we observed the LAB species over the plate, which is more beneficial for the product. So the microorganisms which we isolate is the Leuconostoc mesenteroids organism. So Leuconostoc mesenteroids is one of the lactic acid bacterial group, and this bacteria is more helpful for the gut microflora in the intestine, and this microorganism which will regulates our bowel movements, and it helps to avoid the constipation by releasing the fiber into the stool. And then many intestinal disorders like duodenal ulcer, infectious ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease. These are some of the intestinal disorders which can be cured by taking the neeragaram. And also it helps to regulate the blood pressure, candida infection and other infectious diseases which can be prevented by drinking this particular fermented rice water, which is called a neeragaram. So in AIMS hospital, they have been giving this neeragaram as one diet to the ulcer patients, which is curing the microorganisms, harmful microorganisms which is present in the intestine. So we have isolated that this microorganism is more useful for the prevention of many intestinal disorders. And next, this Barnyard millet, which is neeragaram, is having a highly acceptable with maximum retention of nutritional characteristics, and especially I conclude that this neeragaram is having the presence of short chain fatty acids, which is having an anti-inflammatory effect over the body. And we have isolated the lactobacillus group in neeragaram, which helps to promote the immunoglobulins. And fermented sour beverage, which will have a high energy rich and body rehydrating drink. It helps to restore the intestinal flora in a healthy form and helps to prevent the gastrointestinal alignments. The developed fermented sour beverage does not involve too much of cost production, and it will be more helpful for the entrepreneurs to have good returns. Thank you one and all.